Hai teman-teman, musim baru Premier League akan segera dimulai. Para pecinta bola siap-siap nanti akan disuguhkan tayangan dari kompetisi terbaik di dunia. Nah, saya Gracia Baron, saya sudah bersama dengan Peter Schmeichel, kiper legendaris Manchester United. Hi Peter, how are you doing?
Good, very good, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing well. How's your trip?
My trip is good. I've been here now 3 days.
Yes, and you like Indonesia so far?
Yes, very good. I've been here before, but every time I've been, it's been so quick. You know, you come in, do whatever I have to do, and then it's straight back out. Mainly to stay on European time.
Yes.
This time I've been in the region in Asia for now.
Okay, the
Nearly
last
10
time you
days.
visited Indonesia was 3 years ago. How would you like Indonesia so far?
Now I've seen a little bit of Jakarta, which I haven't seen before. It's been very good. We've been sightseeing. We've been out having cakes, which I understand now that Indonesian people, they like their cakes. So very interesting. And yeah, I've been around. It's been good.
Okay, so we know that you're a former MU player. Everybody knows that. What is your current opinion about the team right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really optimistic about the way that the team is going in, and the direction it's going in, and how it's progressing. I think since Sir Alex he retired, we've not really had a manager that understood what the job really was and where the club is supposed to go, what direction, and what he needs to do, not only with the team, but with everything that is behind, you know, the youth academy, the younger players, the development, the responsibility to develop players to get in to the first team squad. And we do, I just feel that we have that now. A lot of standards were sliding, players were taking over the narrative of the club. You had players that, you know, through their social media were dominating what was being talked about when it came to Manchester United. And all of that, in 1 year, Erik ten Hag, he stopped it. He said standards, timekeeping, little things like timekeeping, for instance. So there is the example of Marcus Rashford when he was hottest and he was scoring goals, and then he was late for a meeting and he was off the team, which is it's a very brave thing to do, but it's a powerful message to the rest of the squad. It's a powerful message to the world, and I'm just very impressed with what he's done in 12 months.
Okay.
And of course, he's brought in 3 new players for this upcoming season.
Yes.
And if they come out good, we have a really good chance of doing something big this season.
Okay, we know that in this new season there are some new players around, and do you think they have the potentials to be the starters in their own teams? Yeah,
I mean, the style of play that Erik ten Hag wants a team to play in requires a goalkeeper playing in a certain way. So he's brought in Andre Onana, who has a proven record of first of all being very good, but being able to do that, play that like that. And I think last year in the Champions League, taking Inter all the way to the final, everyone started to look at him. The question with him and with the other 3 that we brought in is if they've done well with clubs where they come from. But Man United is different. It's bigger. The whole world are watching it. Everyone's passing judgments. You know, the pressure of being a Man United player is so much bigger than any other club in the world. So can they do it, any of the 3, can they do it for Manchester United? That we wait to see. But if...
Do you think they can do it?
I hope they can do it. If Onana can play the way he played last season, then it's good. If Mason Mount can play the way that he's played for Chelsea and England for so many years, and I believe that he can, because he's probably he's used to it. He's used to the pressure, and then it's a really, really good addition. And of course, the most expensive player that we bought was Rasmus Højlund, who is a fellow Dane. He has got unlimited potential.
Okay.
He could be anything.
It's like what kind of potential?
Anything you want a footballer to be,
okay,
he can be that. But it's still just potential. You know, he
you
needs
have to dig it on it. Right?
Yeah, he needs a really good coach. He needs patience, understanding. He needs to be managed into this role. And if we do that right, we have a serious striker on our hands for the next 10, 15 years. Of course, we all know about Haaland. Haaland, you know, he's come storming onto the scene and done fantastically well. And you don't see that very often. With Højlund, it's a little bit of the same. You see, he's a special kid. You just see that special thing the first time you lay eyes on him. He's got everything. He's a full package, but he's got everything working together.
How long do you think it needs to be to get to
I don't know. I mean, it could be one game. It could be half a season.
But there is some new hope for Manchester United for it, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
So I think the most important thing now, he's been brought in for a lot of money. That's pressure. There's a lot of pressure, and that's already now I can see in the media. There is some question marks about how can Manchester United spend so much money on an unproven kid. But he is, as I said, unlimited potential. So it's now up to Erik ten Hag and his coaching staff to get that potential onto the pitch.
Okay.
And that requires a lot of personal managing of him, and of course a lot of patience. But the guy, he has everything. He's got great mentality, great personality. He's a very, very likable boy. And the most scary thing about Rasmus Højlund is he has got two younger brothers who both play in FC Copenhagen, and they are deemed to be equally as good as him. So there might be 3 Højlunds in Man United very soon.
Okay. Well, Premier League is coming up. What do you think about the rival map?
Yeah, I think that map is bigger than it's been for years. It really is interesting. Trying to look ahead into the Premier League season. It's literally impossible because next week I have to do stuff like giving my 1 to 20, giving my prediction for top 4, and trying to prepare myself for that. Just can't. I honestly cannot. I can't remember running up to a Premier League start with so many different options and so many different teams realistically challenging for the title. Realistically challenging for top 4. It's very difficult to see who's going to be relegated. You always look at the guys come up, Burnley or Luton. I think Luton will probably struggle a little bit, but I can't see Burnley struggle. I can't see Sheffield United necessarily struggle. I mean, it's just, and that is why this league is so good. Because it's so competitive.
Well, we're going to talk about the football, but I would like to invite an Indonesian celebrity. Do you know there is an Indonesian celebrity who is a big fan of you, and he knows more about you, and we decided to invite him to come to the studio just to meet you. Please meet Ben Kasyafani over there. Hi, Ben.
Sir,
Hi, Ben. How are you?
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for inviting me.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Let me catch my breath first.
Love the shirt.
Yeah, unbelievable. This is an unbelievable moment from because I grow up watch you play, like week in, week out.
That makes me kind of old, doesn't it?
No, I'm old too. So this is an unbelievable moment for me. So
Do you know what that shirt is?
Huh?
Do you know what the shirt is?
Yeah, no, this is yours.
Yeah, but from when?
This is 97, I guess.
Nah.
98?
Nah.
98?
Nah.
No.
99.
99?
Yeah.
99. This is the only shirt that your name on it that I got it. So it is very hard to get it.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have a moment?
Sold out.
Autograph on the t-shirt.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Wow, no, maybe later.
Oh, maybe later.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
Okay. Ben, do you have some questions to ask, I guess?
Yeah. I want to ask about a specific moment. Once I watched your interview, the specific moment in 26 May 1999, Manchester United against Bayern Munich, and you said that when one of the Bayern Munich player chipped the ball over you and hit the post, and you said at that specific moment, you gotta win the game. You win the game.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when you're leaving your post in 90 minutes to run up to opponent's goal to get the...
Well, we're 1-0 down, so we're just we have to give everything that we have in order to get back in that game, and we had this idea that, you know, once you get to a certain time, you just throw caution to the wind. And we talk about it of being in risk mode. So the closer you get to the end of the game, the more risk we take. And, you know, I've seen the board go up. It says 3 minutes. We get a corner kick, and, you know, at the end of the day, losing 1-0 or 2-0 doesn't make a difference. So it's a really good risk to take. And of course, the idea is to go up and create confusion. You don't think, it's something you do. It's part of your training. It's part of, you know, the team's DNA. You as an individual player's DNA. It's not like I'm thinking, should I go or should I not? You just go and then hope for something to happen. And something did happen.
When the goal happened, do you believe when you run up to the opponent's goal, you know you will get the goal?
I always thought that we would get back in the game. I always thought that, but that's not that game. That's any game that we were behind in. We were the kind of team that never gave in. So if you go back and look at the results and when goals are scored in the 6 months of that season, running up to that day in May, it happened quite a lot. We scored so many late goals, and it's a lot of things. It's a, you know, of course, it's mentality. It's being prepared to take risks in the game. Having quality players, being able to play in risk mode. That means when you commit people forward, you still, you know, maybe you play man to man at the back, so you have players who can deal with quick strikers, strong strikers on their own. And then, of course, the way games were panning out, we used to drain other teams of energy, just kept pushing on, kept you know, just attacking. And it's stressful to be defending all the time. So at some point, something's got to break. And, you know, 90 minutes is a long time. So when you get towards the 90 minutes, other teams are tired, a few players maybe losing concentration. And that's where we were very good, because we were able to keep the energy levels up and keep the concentration.
So how do you influence other players? Because individual mentality with team mentality, I think it's a different thing.
Yeah, it is, but you have to have a good manager, that set out the instructions of what you're supposed to do, not in a game, but as a Manchester United player, play for this team. We never really had sort of big, long team talks where this is what we're going to do, that is what. You know. We did a lot of what we had to do in games. We did that in training. And then it was basically managing mentality all the time. If people were going astray, they would be put back, you know, and he would talk about this is what expected of you and so on.
Well, Peter, I want to ask you this. Speaking of the upcoming season of the Premier League, what do you think about who's going to be the winner?
The winner?
Yes. Your predictions.
My predictions is I haven't got a clue. I literally don't have a clue.
What do you think?
I think there are 6 teams who potentially can say that they can win it, and probably will say that internally.
Okay.
So it is, of course, the 2 Manchester clubs. It's Arsenal and Liverpool. It's Newcastle and it's Chelsea. I think Newcastle and Chelsea probably will be the less likely of the 4. I think Chelsea's still got a long way to go in terms of sorting out whatever's going on in their club. Newcastle, they might do well, but they're in the Champions League, and how many players have played in the Champions League and can understand what, you know, playing Premier League, Champions League, Premier League, how that is, because that's different. And then of course you have the other 3, Liverpool, who they cannot play as bad as they did last season. And Arsenal, who's done pretty well in the transfer market, did really well last season. And then of course the 2 Manchester clubs.
Okay.
But who, I don't know. I hope of course it's a red Manchester.
Okay.
I hope.
Manchester. Oke, Ben, kita kan tahu ya kalau misalkan Peter Schmeichel ini sebelumnya disebut sebagai pahlawan MU. Yeah. You're being called as a hero of Manchester United. What do you think about it? Can you tell us about how you feel back then when you were called as a hero of Manchester United?
Yeah, that's funnily enough not something I do think about. It's for me it was a dream since I was a small child to play for Manchester United.
Okay.
So actually having the opportunity was so big for me. But I was at a point in my life where I was so ambitious, I was so serious about my sport, and I wouldn't let anything come from the outside and kind of disrupt that. So I looked, you know, very directly at what it was to be a player and what I needed to do for the team. So I worked really hard on that. And you know, if it was for the national team or where I came from, Brøndby or Manchester United, it didn't really matter at the end of the day. I knew I had this job to do, and it's only many, many years later that you kind of sit back and think, whoa, I was really part of that. And of course it's something that makes me very proud, and you know, been dreaming about playing for Manchester United every day when I was a child, and then actually achieving it, that is very special, something that, yeah, just incredible.
Because throughout your career, you face against the best team in the world. Do you have like the team you would like to face against that you haven't got a chance to?
Yeah, but not for Manchester United. I have one for Denmark. I would really like to play Brazil again. We played them in the quarterfinals of the World Cup in '98, and we were so much better than them. But in the game, we didn't realize it. You know, when because you play Brazil, something else plays on your mind for the team, you know. And it's only after the game where we lost it 3-2 and we were 1-0 up and 2-0 up, and we hit the bar in the end of the game. I mean, it's only after the game you realize, oh my God, we were so much better than they were, and we didn't take that opportunity.
And who's the most, you know, the team, the hardest team that you have faced?
Hardest team?
Yes.
I think the hardest team I faced is probably Arsenal in '99. So obviously we came face to face in the FA Cup semi-final that year, but they were good. I mean, they were really, really good. They were man for man the same as we were, and of course those semi-finals were incredibly special matches. They were, but we were fighting for the Premier League title as well with them. And I think we ended up winning it, but I think Arsenal had so many more days as number one as opposed to us. And it was something like 1 point all the time, the difference. And if they played before us, which happens now and again, and they would win, then we would probably be 4 points behind, and we had to. So it was that. They great team, great players in that team.
If you were given a chance to face them again, would you like to do the match?
I don't want to face them because we already won, you know. So there's no point.
Okay, well,
if I could, I'd face another team that we didn't win against. So, but not Arsenal. We did win, so.
Okay, well, so
we managed to do it.
How to handle the stress and the high expectations of being a goalkeeper back then?
Yeah. It's funny because that's another thing. You don't really think about it, and then you come to points where. So, for instance, I made my decision to leave Man United a year before I did, and I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought my thinking was right, my reasons were right. I had all, but when I look back, I was probably in a stressful situation. I was mentally not the right place to make a decision of that caliber. And then the reason I say it like this is that you kind of don't know. Yes, you don't feel the pressure like that. It's just something. And pressure is not. Pressure is not negative. Pressure is also positive, good, because it makes you
aware,
produce a little bit more, and it also tells you indirectly that what you're doing is important. You know? And I think most people like to do important things.
Do you still get nervous in the big game when you still play?
So
nervous? You still
I was
nervous?
never nervous. No.
Never got nervous.
Never.
Oh, okay.
Never. When I was a kid, I was nervous all the time, all the time, and I have a moment where I stopped being nervous, and it was when I started to play for Brøndby, my professional club in Denmark. My first game was a quarterfinal of the Champions League, and it was an away game to Porto.
Okay.
And at this point, the most I've ever played for was maybe 5,000 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Peter, we have some rapid questions to ask for
Right.
you to ask. Okay.
For me to ask.
Yes, there are some questions.
Answer.
10 questions. You have to respond and you have to answer very quickly.
All right.
Okay. Our first rapid fire questions. Remember, you have to answer this very quickly. Who is the most respected player when you were in Manchester United?
Who was the most?
Respected.
Brian Robson.
Yes,
Who is
player.
the striker that you fear the most in Premier League?
Nobody.
Cool.
Who is the best goalkeeper in Premier League for now?
Ederson.
Who is the meanest captain when you were in Manchester United?
Robson.
Well, which one is better, Peter Schmeichel or Kasper Schmeichel?
Kasper Schmeichel.
Of course. Well,
This is a tricky one. Haaland or Holund?
Who?
Haaland or Rasmus Holund? Haaland or
I
Holund?
would have Højlund any day,
all right.
because he's at Man United.
Well, I'll pick another one. David Beckham or Ryan Giggs?
Both.
You have to pick one.
I can't. Two different players. How can you put them up next to each other?
Come on, you have
You
to
know?
pick one. Peter, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time. Thank you for being here with us.
It's a pleasure.
Ya, teman-teman jangan lupa.
Did you bring a pen?
Yeah, of course I did.
Oh,
Because I know
Yes.
people, they have pens.
No, I got it.
Ah, you got
oh
it.
man, oh man, 1999.
Where do you want it? In the front or in
maybe
the back?
around here.
Okay. This is a proper pen.
Thank
just
you
smell it.
so
Just
much.
smell it.
Oke, teman-teman, kita udah ngobrol panjang sama Peter Schmeichel dan juga tadi udah ditandatangani ya, Ben.
Yes.
Jangan lupa saksikan Premier League mulai 12 Agustus mendatang. Saya Gracia Bern dan Ben Kasyafani.
Yes.
Sampai jumpa, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.